Are we literally controlled by tiny microbes? Does our gut bacteria have us on puppet strings and tell us what to do or what not to do? We know that the brain and the gut have an intimate relationship, but new research has shed light on just how intricate this relationship might be. Have you ever said that you felt a certain way in your gut? Or you just had a gut feeling about something? It seems that our minds are, in some part, controlled by the bacteria in our bowels. Yeah, that's right. The gut and the brain loop and how they interact will blow your mind. Today on Own Your Biome. If this is your first time here and you're interested in alternative health, taking care of yourself, and aging well as time moves us forward, then consider subscribing so you won't miss anything. The gut microbiota is that vast population of bacteria, fungi, and viruses living together in your digestive tract. It's huge. As we've pointed out before, you have more of those microbes inside of you than you have human cells in your entire body. Now, researchers at the Pasteur Institute in Paris have found evidence that the gut microbiota actually regulates our mood and brain function. The Institute studied mice, and their findings suggest that changes in the gut bacterial communities may lead to or contribute to depression and other conditions. If humans have a similar mechanism, doctors might be able to use bacteria strains to treat mood disorders. Gut microbiota and mood. Researchers have found that some people with depression experience something called dysbiosis, which is a change in their microbiome, putting it out of balance. When the researchers studied mice with gut dysbiosis, their depression symptoms included reduced ability to grow new brain cells, chronic low-grade inflammation, and abnormal stress response functions. Studies on animals, usually mice, also showed that their gut microbiota helps to regulate anxiety. This leads to further theories that the gut microbiota influences the development of neurological conditions, such as Parkinson's and Alzheimer's diseases in people, even obsessive-compulsive disorder. We believe that all this is possible because gut bacteria release metabolites. Metabolites are tiny molecules created by digestion, and they can influence brain function. How much influence does one microbe hold? The gut has defenses against pathogens, but at the same time, it encourages the survival and growth of healthy gut bacteria. The vast majority of these single-celled visitors are based in the colon, where no less than 1 trillion of these little guys live in each 1 gram of intestinal content. Estimating a number for all of your gut bacteria is hard, but our best guess today is that 40 trillion bacteria call your intestines home. 1 trillion is a really big number and difficult to wrap your head around or fill in your gut. One way to break it down is that 1 trillion is 1 million million. Or try this on for size. Your entire body consists of roughly 30 trillion human cells. So yes, in a very real sense, we are more bacteria than man. Most of our gut bacteria belong to 30 or 40 species, and we don't know a lot about them, but there may be up to 1,000 different species in all. Collectively, they're called the microbiome. Of course, bacteria do benefit from the warmth and nutrition in your bowels, but it's not a one-way relationship. They also give back to us. For example, some species benefit us by breaking down dietary fiber into short-chain fatty acids that we can then absorb and use. We couldn't do this digestion process without their help, and fiber is a must for a healthy long life. Gut bacteria metabolize a number of compounds for us and play a key role in the synthesis of vitamins B and K. But as we discussed, recent research shows that they may play a role in our moods, as well as inflammatory and autoimmune conditions. The microbiome's role in health and disease is only slowly giving up its secrets. The latest and perhaps most remarkable finding now is this ability for the gut bacteria to moderate our brain and behavior. But why should the gut and brain be linked? The goings-on in our gut are a matter of life or death. If the gut is empty, our brain must be told. If there's a problem with our gut that will hinder food processing and therefore nutrition absorption, the brain will need to be informed. If our gut is facing a pathogen attack, our brain should be kept in the loop. The links between our gut and brain are hormonal, immunological, and neural via the central nervous system and the enteric nervous system, which governs the function of the gut. Collectively, they are all termed the gut-brain axis. Although at first glance the connections between the gut and brain might seem surprising, we've all experienced it in action. The relationship between stress, anxiety, and a feeling in your gut is something we've all experienced. These gut-brain conversations have been studied for a long time. However, a new level to this partnership has recently been glimpsed. Researchers are now considering the influence of our microbiome on the gut-brain axis. In other words, researchers are asking, do the bacteria in our gut affect our psychology and behavior? We are only beginning to scratch the surface on this one. Stress and the gut. In humans, the hypothalamic pituitary adrenal, or just HPA, axis is the primary responder to stresses of any kind. It's one of the major players in the limbic system and is heavily involved in emotions and memory. Stress activates the HPA axis and eventually results in the release of cortisol, the stress hormone, which has a variety of effects on many organs, including the brain and the gut. So, in this way, the brain's response to stress has a direct influence on the cells of the gut. And by the way, this includes immune cells. Conversely, the gut cells are also under the influence of our resident grand army of bacteria. What a difference a microbe makes. The first real clues that microbes might have some control over our mental activity came more than 20 years ago. Patients with a decline in brain function due to severe liver disease were found to improve substantially after taking oral antibiotics. Later studies provided further hints that the microbiome had more than a passing influence on the states of mind. It was found to impact anxiety and depressive-like behaviors. Another key observation linked microbial imbalance with autism. Children with autism often have abnormal and less diverse communities of bacteria in their gut. Researchers in 2004 noted that mice bred to have no gut bacteria had an exaggerated HPA axis response to stress. Further investigations using similar germ-free mice have demonstrated that their lack of gut bacteria alters memory function. Germ-free mice have been very helpful in moving along theories, although they don't replicate any natural human situation. There is no such thing as a germ-free human. Research has moved ahead in general, but none has been conclusive. Even if changes in the gut flora are seen, we still don't know which came first. It's kind of like the chicken or the egg question, in a sense. Which influences which? We haven't really figured that out yet, though it seems to be a two-way interaction, making gut health a high priority for our general health and well-being. But how can gut flora moderate the brain? One study, using foodborne pathogens, provided evidence that bacteria in the intestines can activate stress circuits by directly activating the vagus nerve, a cranial nerve supplying a number of organs, including the upper digestive tract. A more direct route still might involve direct contact of the microbiome with the sensory neurons of the nervous system. Studies have shown that these sensory neurons are less active in germ-free mice, and once the mice have been given probiotics to restock their microbiome, the activity levels of their neurons return to normal. Probiotics influencing psychology. In a study published in PLOS One, found that age-related loss of memory could be reversed in rats by altering the levels of certain bacteria with probiotics. The authors of the study concluded the data support the notion that intestinal microbiota can be manipulated to positively impact on neural function. Maybe this means that in the future we'll have medicines specifically targeting the microbiome for psychiatric conditions, or a better understanding of the gut microbiome will serve as an early warning system for certain diseases, or even as a diagnostic tool. For now, all we can do is poke around and wonder what influences bacteria have on our everyday state of mind. However, this should influence what we put in our body and how we eat, and what we can do actively as we strive to own our biome and live better. More tips and ideas in our video library. Thanks for watching and sharing and letting others know what we're doing here on this channel.